Hey Falcons fans, let's jump right in because we've got plenty to talk about today. Before we dive into the juicy details, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss the breaking news we've got coming your way. Alright, it's Pro Bowl season, and as always, the selection process has everyone talking. Fans are scratching their heads, wondering how certain players made the cut while others were left out. This year, the Atlanta Falcons are at the center of the conversation, with some surprising inclusions and snubs. But the biggest shock? It's not about who didn't make the list, it's about who did. Yep, we're talking about Younghoe Koo, the Falcons kicker. Koo has been a fan favorite for years, and his popularity is undeniable. But when we look at the numbers, the story takes a different turn. In 2024, Koo ranked 32nd in the NFL for field goal percentage. He wrapped up the season on injured reserve with 25 successful kicks out of 34 attempts. That's just 73.5%. Digging deeper, from distances of 30 to 49 yards, he went 12 for 18, which is 66.7%. Those numbers? Far from Pro Bowl material. Statistically, Koo was one of the worst kickers in the league this season. Now don't get us wrong, we're not here to drag Koo down. He's had an incredible career and is adored by Falcons fans and beyond. But let's face it, his performance this season doesn't exactly scream Pro Bowler. In fact, some of his missed kicks were costly, like the rough one for poor performance against the Saints in a 27 loss. That game was crucial, as the Falcons fell one game behind the Buccaneers in the NFC South. And yet, players like Bijan Robinson, Kaden Ellis, and A.J. Terrell, all of whom had stellar seasons, didn't get the recognition they deserved. Robinson has been electric, Ellis has dominated defensively, and Terrell remains one of the top cornerbacks in the league. Despite their efforts, they're just backups in the Pro Bowl lineup, while Koo gets the nod despite his struggles. It's hard not to see this as a popularity contest, especially in a sport as competitive as football. It's tough to pin a team's success or failure on just one player. So, what do you think, Falcons fans? Did Koo truly deserve his Pro Bowl spot, or was this just another popularity contest? Should players like Bijan Robinson and Kaden Ellis have taken the spotlight instead? The Falcons' roller coaster of a season is finally winding down, and as we prepare for the offseason, there's a lot to reflect on. One decision looms larger than most: the signing of Kirk Cousins. When the Falcons signed Cousins, fans were optimistic. He had a solid track record, and many hoped he'd bring stability to the quarterback position. But looking back, it's clear that handing a 36-year-old quarterback a massive $180 million contract, especially after an Achilles injury, was a major gamble. Unfortunately, that gamble hasn't paid off. Let's break down the numbers. Cousins played in 14 games this season, throwing 18 touchdowns but also 16 interceptions. For a quarterback earning $180 million, that kind of performance falls far short of expectations. Under Cousins, the Falcons managed a 7-7 record, and as the season dragged on, his struggles became harder to ignore. Eventually, the team turned to rookie Michael Penix Jr., a move that made sense given Cousins' poor form. But here's the kicker: Cousins is still tied to that hefty contract. Unless something miraculous happens in Week 18, the Falcons are set to miss the playoffs for the 7th straight year, and we all know what that means. Big changes are coming. The fallout doesn't stop there. There's growing speculation about the future of Falcons GM Terry Fontenot. According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, Fontenot could be on the chopping block after a disastrous 2023 offseason. His decision to sign Cousins and use the 8th overall draft pick on another quarterback, Penix Jr., raised eyebrows at the time. Now, it's looking like those moves may cost him his job. But the problems go beyond Cousins. The Falcons' defense, despite adding big names like Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons on one-year deals, hasn't delivered as hoped. With the team sitting at 8-8, this season feels like a missed opportunity. So, what does all this mean for the future of the Atlanta Falcons? Big decisions lie ahead, and the direction this team takes could reshape its fortunes for years to come. If the Falcons miss the playoffs again this year, it will be hard to justify keeping Kirk Cousins and Terry Fontenot around. It's been a rough ride since 2017, and with 4 straight playoff misses and potentially a 4th consecutive losing season, the team might be heading toward a major rebuild. But here's the million-dollar question. Is Michael Penix Jr. the answer? If he turns out to be the franchise quarterback the Falcons have been searching for, it could soften the blow of the Kirk Cousins experiment. Still, it's clear that major changes are needed, and the upcoming offseason is going to be a tough one for the Falcons. Now, I want to hear from you, Falcons fans. What are your thoughts on the Kirk Cousins signing? Should the Falcons have done more this offseason to avoid this mess? And what does the future hold for Terry Fontenot? Share your opinions in the comments below. Let's pivot to another hot topic, the Pro Bowl rosters. Once again, the Falcons are facing the bitter reality of being snubbed. Sure, Chris Lindstrom and Kaden Hodge are representing the Dirty Birds, and both deserve their spots. Lindstrom has been a powerhouse on the offensive line, and Hodge has been stellar on special teams. No complaints there. But there are 4 Falcons who absolutely should have made the Pro Bowl, and it's hard to overlook their incredible seasons. Let's start with Bijan Robinson. Falcons fans already know how phenomenal this guy has been, but let's break down the numbers. 1,286 rushing yards, 12 rushing touchdowns, 59 receptions for 428 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. Think about it. A rookie running back on pace to finish the season with nearly 2,000 total yards and 13 touchdowns. Yet, somehow, Robinson didn't make the Pro Bowl. It's mind-blowing. Robinson has been one of the most valuable players in the NFL this season, and the driving force behind the Falcons' offense. Leaving him out of the Pro Bowl in favor of players like Jahmyr Gibbs and Josh Jacobs feels downright wrong. Robinson isn't just a Pro Bowler. He should be a leading contender for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And next up, we've got Kaden Ellis. If you've been watching the Falcons' defense this season, you already know how vital Kaden Ellis has been to the team's success. He's been a force on the field, delivering 140 tackles, 5 sacks, 16 quarterback hits, 8 tackles for loss. Ellis hasn't just been about numbers, though. He's added an interception, a fumble recovery, and a forced fumble to his season stats. What stands out most is his consistent dominance. He's recorded double-digit tackles in 8 games and stepped up in key moments all season. Raheem Morris's defensive scheme revolves around what Ellis brings to the table, making him the most valuable linebacker on the team. Without a doubt, he deserves Pro Bowl honors. Now, let's talk about A.J. Terrell. Terrell has been a lockdown corner, especially in the second half of the season. And by lockdown, we mean elite. He's gone head-to-head with some of the best wide receivers in the league, like Justin Jefferson and Terry McLaurin, and shut them down. Against Jefferson, Terrell allowed just 1 reception for 7 yards. The same goes for McLaurin during the Falcons game against the Commanders. And yet, somehow, both Jefferson and McLaurin made the Pro Bowl, while Terrell was left out. It's hard to make sense of that. Terrell has proven he can stop the best in the business, and his performance this season should have earned him a Pro Bowl spot. His snub is a complete travesty. Finally, we have Jesse Bates III. If there's one player who has completely transformed the way offenses attack the Falcons, it's Bates. The star safety has been outstanding this season, with 97 tackles, 4 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 4 interceptions, 10 passes, defended 1 sack, and a touchdown. Bates has been the backbone of the Falcons' secondary, making game-changing plays week after week. It's mind-boggling that he didn't make the Pro Bowl. Bates has arguably been the best safety in the NFL this season. Players like Budda Baker and Brian Branch, who got the Pro Bowl nod instead, must be feeling the pressure because Bates has been playing at a higher level than both of them. So what's the takeaway here? The Pro Bowl often feels more like a popularity contest than a true recognition of talent. The Falcons may not always grab the spotlight, but players like Bijan Robinson, Kaden Ellis, A.J. Terrell, and Jesse Bates III all delivered standout seasons and deserved their Pro Bowl spots. Despite Chris Lindstrom and Kaden Hodge earning well-deserved recognition, It's a real shame that some of the Falcons' most outstanding players were snubbed from the Pro Bowl roster. Players like Bijan Robinson, Kaden Ellis, A.J. Terrell, and Jesse Bates III more than earned their spots. Sure, there's still a chance some of them could be called up as alternates, but it's hard not to feel frustrated when their incredible performances are overlooked. Now, I want to hear from you, Falcons fans. Do you think these guys deserved better? Should Robinson have been the first rookie running back in years to make the Pro Bowl? What about Ellis, Terrell, and Bates? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. And as always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your fellow Falcons fans. Stay tuned for more updates on all things Falcons. Rise up!